Du, Schatz, ich gönn mir heute mal ein Wohlfühlpaket. Mal wieder so richtig auftanken. Perfekter Glanz, schonende Pflege und dazu ein Cappuccino. Ist das okay für dich?
Klar, Schatz. Bringst du mir ein Bier mit?
Jetzt bei Shell tanken und bis zu 50% Rabatt auf die Autowäsche erhalten. Vom 4.4. bis 3.7.2018. An allen teilnehmenden Shell-Stationen.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to another conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. And I want to welcome you to this beautiful day on the west coast of North America, in Northern California, Santa Rosa, where we have sunny skies. We have sunny skies, and we have a few clouds in that sunny sky, and beautiful spring flowers coming up. And I just want to greet you from this aspect of where I am right now. Beautiful, beautiful day, and I hope your day or night is just as beautiful for you. I'd like to welcome you to this conversation about the Kundalini and control, how we allow and how we can open to the control of the Kundalini within us. But first, I would like to make a few announcements. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Amelia Santara and her family, John, Jonathan, Emma, and the extended children throughout the world for making this show possible for you to hear and for you to come and visit in the archives if you want to hear it more than once. So thank you very much, Amelia Santara.
You're very welcome, and it's lovely to be here in Santa Rosa with you for this broadcast.
And it is lovely to have you here. You are definitely a blessing for me and for this extended Kundalini family. So thank you for all that you do. I'd also like to thank Eileen Laurel for her many gifts to the program. And I will hope that she gives as many gifts to herself as she does to this program. So thank you, Eileen Laurel. I would like to thank Glenn Ola for the beautiful Kundalini Awakening Systems1.com website that he has so artfully and so ably managed over the years, and that it has reached many, many, many people. And I want to thank you, Glenn, for your efforts in those areas. And I would like to thank you, the listeners, for giving your attentions and your interest in what is being discussed here on the Kundalini Awakening Systems channel on Blog Talk Radio. Another announcement is that we're having a Boston retreat. We're having a Kundalini Awakening Boston retreat, October 19th and 20th. And I just want you to know that this is occurring, and that you are all welcome to attend. You can talk to Liz at LZHOU6, the number 6, at Comcast.net. So her name is Liz, and she's the organizer, and she is at LZHOU, the number 6, at Comcast.net. So I hope to see all of you there. Now to our discussion. Oh, by the way, this discussion will be for about an hour, just so you know, so in case you need to plan your time or anything. And I would like to welcome all of those who come and visit in the future with the archives. So hello, all of you visiting through the archives in the future. And no matter how far in the distance that future is, I don't care if it's 2 minutes, 2 years, or 200 years. Welcome to you. Thank you for listening. Kundalini and control is a lot like Kundalini and surrender, except that Kundalini and surrender is an aspect of the giving of yourself to the Kundalini, but as you surrender, therefore, do you surrender to the control of the Kundalini over your life. Control deals mostly with the ego aspects of the how do we commit to allowing the Kundalini to control us and to help us with the awakening process as it continues to work its way through us. So control is a very, very, very important issue, and it is not something that will come easy to most people. It will not be an easy scenario. And yet, right from the start of this conversation, I want to encourage you to give control over your life to the Kundalini. I don't mean to an entity. I don't mean to some voice that appears in your head and says, "Behold, Chrism, I am the God of Jehovah. I am here to whatever," or I am the great Zoroaster, or I'm the, Kundalini's not going to come to you that way, typically. And so don't surrender to that until you have some sort of a clear, evocative proof that this is indeed the Kundalini talking to you, and this will come to you through many, many different symbols and teachings in your dream life, but also in your waking life. Typically, you have to start the ball rolling with the Kundalini having control over your life. So within the teachings that are given here at the Kundalini Awakening Systems organization, within those structures, we are using the safety protocols, and you can go see and copy the safety protocols at www.kundaliniawakeningsystems1.com. That's all one word. Kundalini, Kundalini, Awakening, Awakening, Systems, SYSTEMS.com. And that's all one word. And so I would like you to go visit there. Go to the left-hand menu, and about the fourth one down, I think, is the safeties. You will see that it is the Kundalini safeties, and that these safeties are indicative of how you can begin to initiate a Kundalini control over your life, over the expression of your life, over how you live your life, over how you function within your life, and all the relationships and choices and decisions and directions that are given to you during your life, how you can bring that into a Kundalini control of your life. And it doesn't mean that you are all of a sudden just a blank slate and you just stand there waiting for the Kundalini to give you a message. So, okay, go brush your teeth. This is not what I'm talking about. Now, in other scenarios, that would exactly be what you're talking about, but not in this scenario. In this scenario, I'm just beginning to present to you an idea of what it is to give the control of your life over to Kundalini. And I'm talking about the ego aspects of your life. Now, in many ways, the ego wouldn't want to brush their teeth because maybe they're too tired, or the person is too lazy, or whatever the scenario is. The teeth don't get brushed. In that type of scenario, if the Kundalini all of a sudden gave you this urge to brush your teeth, well then you would definitely surrender into that understanding, as the Kundalini wants your teeth to be clean and healthy. So within that context, yes, of course. But outside of that context, it is the ego aspects of the person that we're really starting to work on first, with the control or the surrendering of control over our lives to the Kundalini. So we go to the safeties. We look at the various locks that we can use to consciously assist the Kundalini as it infuses and changes and transforms our body. So tongue up is one of the first locks that are given, and these are given from the Taoist Chinese culture. So a big thank you to the Taoist Chinese who are listening right now. Those people did us a great favor, and we are the beneficiaries of that favor. So the tongue up, tongue tip to the roof of the mouth, right behind the upper front teeth. This is an initiatory way of giving the Kundalini control over your life, because as you make that master switch connection, so will the Kundalini be consciously aided and abetted by you in its infusion of your body and its control of your life. Because just as we are infants and our parents pretty much control us in every way, from changing the diaper to feeding to clothing to teaching, so will the Kundalini in its initial foray within our body begin to teach us in the very basic ways of its expression and our new life within the expression of the divine flesh, which this is truly the divine flesh. This is where all the saints and the people of the past, the exalted people, everyone from Christ to Buddha to any of the of the enlightened masters, they all had to come through the Kundalini first, the divine flesh first. So, tongue up behind the upper front teeth, the roof of the mouth. And then a second initiation of control of Kundalini over your life is your hands in the Gyan Mudra. Forefinger tip to thumb tip and the three other fingers spread across. And another beginning of the ascension of control of the Kundalini over your life would be your eyes up when you're meditating. Not when you're driving, not when you're walking, not when you're on a bike, when you're meditating or praying. Because once again, this activity helps to bring the Kundalini into a greater expression inside of your daily existence. But only do it when you're meditating or praying, certainly not when you're driving or anything else like that. Now, if you're riding in a car and someone else is driving and maybe you're taking a long road trip. Well, you're sitting in the passenger seat or the back seat. You can certainly go into meditation, roll your eyes up, and have a great time with that. So, it's just when you're driving, I would prefer that you not do that for obvious reasons. And then the next thing that is very important is you can begin to do your forgivenesses. As you do the forgiveness, you begin to unravel a lot of karmic bonding and courting that may have occurred in this life and have certainly occurred in other lives. You need to begin to understand reincarnation as a fact, not a fiction that science, because science can't prove reincarnation, with their machines and whatnot. Therefore, it doesn't exist for them. But it exists for pretty much millions and if not billions of other people on this planet. Should give scientists a bit of applause. But it doesn't. So great is the ego control over the scientific community. So look to reincarnation as a fact. Begin to surrender the control of your incredulity based upon the scientific method. Surrender that control of your belief and understandings of how life works to the Kundalini, and begin to do your forgivenesses. As you forgive other people, you forgive other scenarios, also forgive yourself at the same time. It's a huge thing to do, but it's two parts of a single equation. You forgive others for what they have done to you, and you forgive yourself for what you may have done in retaliation or on purpose to them. Either way, forgiveness needs to be achieved. And then we move on to the next level of tolerance. We tolerate the differences in other people. We don't use differences to separate us. We see the oneness in everybody, and even in the different reactions and responses that other people have to the questions that come up to them in their life or the challenges that come up to them in their life. We begin to tolerate the differences, and eventually we'll begin to enjoy those differences. The French say, "Vive la différence." That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Long live the difference. Long live our toleration of other people in their different ways and their different thoughts and their different patterns and expressions as they go through their lives with the same challenges that we have, but maybe responding differently than we respond. And this is happening right now in your society, wherever you are, because everybody is unique and everybody responds to the same challenges in different ways, different thoughts, different levels of understanding, different levels of compassion, different levels of acceptance. As you practice just these protocols of control over your life, because you have to understand, this isn't a one-time deal. You don't just go, okay, I forgave Amelia Centaura. Okay, wow, gosh, I feel so different now. You have to forgive the people over and over and over. Forgive them for as long as the hurt has been harbored within you. You know, forgive them over and over and over. Make it a practice. You know, if Amelia Centaura is on your list, you just forgive her over and over and over. If Chrism is on your list, you just forgive him over and over and over. And, you know, for a certain amount of time, don't dedicate your whole day, but try to be as sincere about it as you can for the short time during that day that you do your forgivenesses. And I'll suggest say, if you're practicing for an hour, which is always the best, if you're practicing for an hour, you give at least, 10, 11 minutes of that hour to your forgivenesses. Okay? And you forgive everybody from your family to your friends to those people who aren't exactly friendly to you, to perfect strangers who may have done something to you in your life, like cut you off or things like that, or almost kill you in an intersection, which happened to me last night. You just forgive them and you move through it. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience. And it really begins to place your Kundalini control over your life in a very positive and love-based position. This is very important. You don't teach an infant of 6 months hateful scenarios. You don't teach an infant of 6 months that you want them to have revenge or to kill other people or to murder, rob, rape, or destroy other people. Well, neither do you teach yourself those same things when you're the infant inside of the Kundalini awakening. In a behavioral and moral sense, treat yourself the way you treat your own 2 or 3-year-old. Teach them the positive morals of forgiveness, of tolerance, of patience, of trust, of honesty, of truth, of diligence, of strength and joy and happiness and love. Did I say love? I think I said love. Really, really, really understand that as you go through your Kundalini process, you're very similar to an infant of 6 months to a year-old. First of all, you're taking in information at an incredible rate. Sometimes your head may feel so full of vibrations and different pressures. You'll also have huge levels of information downloaded into your brain, just like a baby does as it's learning its first few years here on this world, the physical world. So know that and appreciate that and begin to treat yourself that way. Know that the Kundalini are your sacred parents, and they have the right and the ability to control your life in a very beautiful and positive way. And when I come to Boston for the seminar that Liz is organizing, we will demonstrate these strengths to you. I'll show you firsthand what you need to do in order to begin a control of the Kundalini over your life. And so, I want to thank Liz for offering to organize this retreat in Boston. And I'd like to see as many of you as possible there. And let us begin to orchestrate and to define and to teach you about what it is to give Kundalini control over your life. And you can go through the entire set of safeties, everything from the emotional and behavioral graces that I just discussed with you, like truth and honesty and trust and control and surrender and forgiveness and tolerance and patience. And also with some of the more physical aspects, like the tongue up, the eyes up, the fingers in Gyan Mudra, and then, of course, the chin slightly down when you're in meditation or prayer. or the hands together on your knees doing supplications, or on your hands and knees, or actually hands, knees and forearms in the Tritaka position that we practice here at the Kundalini Awakening System, one organization. So understand this. Kundalini has the right and the ability to control your life once it is awakened within you, or if you're seeking its awakening within you. Okay, Kundalini has that right. And I want you to begin to accept it. When the Kundalini comes up, it'll often feel like there's some strange creature or energy inside your spine. You'll feel your spine move. It'll move sometimes like a snake. Sometimes you'll just feel like there's a presence there. And, if you've been practicing the safeties, assiduously practicing the safeties, you can be rest assured that this is the Kundalini. And especially if you have other phenomena that, of course, accompany these sensations, you can pretty much nail it down to the Kundalini presence within you. If you have a problem with that, let me know. Give me an email. My email is at K as in Kundalini, fire for all. So kfire for FOR all at yahoo.com. KFIREFORALL at yahoo.com. And if you want to get a hold of Centaura, if a woman's perspective is something that you're seeking within an awakened Kundalini state, then I would suggest that you reach her at Kundalini Matters, one word, Kundalini, KUNDALINI, Matters, MATTERS, at gmail.com, and so that you can get her perspective on a certain thing. Now, I have to tell you, one of the more beautiful aspects of having the Kundalini control you is through its expression of special gifts through your body upon the population at large. And in this scenario, I would like to introduce Centaura, Amelia Centaura, in her applications of healing upon others in the population. Amelia, tell people listening how this has been affecting you lately, doing all the healings with people that I've been giving you to do, and what has their general response been to you?
Okay. Well, I have been doing a lot of healing since I came here to Santa Rosa, lots of opportunities for service and love, and it's been a real honor. And the Kundalini has given me to feel this in a tactile way myself, and has actually, some new things have begun to occur for me, in that I am beginning to sometimes see visually the energy that comes from my hands and my body as well. I had a very beautiful experience recently during the road trip, where I was given to see the light and the energy coming from my hands, and on another occasion this has occurred as well. And people are also beginning to tell me, well, they have been before, but since I came here as well, that they are seeing things like colours, purpley blue, swirly colour, and that they feel sensations within their body as well, as the Kundalini is giving them energy and healing. So this affirms for me, and it is nice, but it is a wonderful thing to know that the Kundalini is moving within me in this way, and it's a privilege.
Thank you, Amelia Centaura. So yes, she's been going to even been going to my relatives and giving them a healing, because they won't necessarily accept it from me, because to them I'm just the little boy in the middle of the family, so it's a little easier for them to receive it from a stranger, and I'm okay with that. It's all good. So yes, as these beautiful gifts begin to express themselves through you, this also is a level of surrendering to the control of the Kundalini over your life. Allow this to occur, and I know it's easy. I was like, oh wow, I get this great, tremendous, beautiful gift that I can show other people in the population that I have. And, well, that's pretty easy to accept. But what if all of a sudden you have to to not take accolades for these gifts, to not be recognized for them, just to give them for the sake of giving them. Well, that may take a little chunk out of the ego attraction to having these gifts. And of course, if any of you have listened to the other programs, you'll know that that's what I would expect a person to work with in regards to the sacred gifts, is you don't do them for self-aggrandizement. You do them for the service and the giving, as Amelia Santara mentioned, for the gifting of grace into the population. It's not for the gifting of your ego. It's not about that at all. Okay. So as these beautiful gifts come to you and you allow them to express through you, so are you beginning to initiate the control of Kundalini over your life. And I want you to know something about these gifts. It's not like you all of a sudden decide, well, okay, at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be initiating my gifts upon such and such a way with this expected outcome. It's not going to work for you that way, typically. I can't speak in absolutes, but typically it will not work that way. It will work on its own time agenda and on its own agenda of receptivity by whoever it is receiving the sacred gift through you. And it may not be the way that you expect or the way the person expects it to happen. So by resolving this ego attachment to expectation, you also begin to initiate a control of the Kundalini over your life. And in this way, I mean over your ego life. So know this and understand this and embrace this within your Kundalini awakening experience. Allow it to occur. I'm going to give the numbers out because it's early enough in the show that I can do that, although I haven't been getting a lot of response. I think people usually are listening to this in the archives, and that's a wonderful thing. And so, but I'll give the call-in number anyway. It is area code 347, that's in the United States, area code 347-934-0026. Once again, that's 347-934-0026. Now, when you have a Kundalini teacher, you're also giving control of that teacher over your life. Because remember, it's a Kundalini teacher, a person who you have in your life that is helping you with your Kundalini. And the Kundalini in that person will begin to read where you are from an ego basis within the Kundalini awakening process for yourself, and will give you definite instructions on what to do, how to do, what you're to do, and when you're to do what to do. And you should begin to give your control of your life over to that person as well. But choose wisely. Don't choose some guy that says, "Oh, well, I'm a Kundalini teacher. I did Kundalini last summer. I did it while I was drinking a Coke, surfing in Santa Monica, California." Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So you really need to be discerning on who you accept as a teacher of your Kundalini. And if there is no person around, well, then the Kundalini in you has not arranged for that person to be around for you. And so really begin to understand how that is and accept that and begin to understand that at this point, Kundalini, the energy and the spiritual presence of the Kundalini in your life is the only teacher that you need until the Kundalini brings a teacher into your life that has the Kundalini and that is working with the Kundalini and that is doing, a level of teaching that is appropriate to your experience within the Kundalini. So please understand that and know that and realize that, because it is very, very important that you do so. So within the context of a Kundalini awakening teacher, at least here at the Kundalini Awakening Systems, we will promote a daily practice of the same. And that's co-opting an hour or more of your time out of every day. Pretty soon, you will start thinking about the Kundalini all the time. You won't be able to stop it, and I don't want you to try. I don't want you to try to stop the Kundalini. Don't resist it. That's another aspect of the control in your life, is that you don't resist the control of the Kundalini in your life. And especially we're talking about ego control. You know, the Kundalini is going to step on the ego quite often, and sometimes, you know, quite with a level of with a large footprint, shall we say. And the ego is going to squirm, and it's going to struggle, and it's going to say, no. For the past so-and-so years, I've been the one in charge, so I'm the one in charge right now, and I'm going to be in charge, and Kundalini will just step on it again. Say, no, child, you are not in charge. I am in charge. The Kundalini is in charge. And you will do as you are told to do, and you will learn what it is that you are given to learn. So you can expect some resistance from people who, you know, don't really understand what is occurring, or the ego aspect of these people who don't really understand what is occurring, or are going to choose to resist it. And I just want you to begin to give control to the Kundalini over the ego. Now, typically it won't happen all at once, but if you have made a visit to, you know, so let's go. You know, a difficult example would be you had Kundalini, and your family and friends just saw that you were just way too happy, or you were just way too not the way you normally are, and, you know, which could have been depressive or overly serious, or, you know, some type of a scenario that they're used to seeing you in, and they're just not used to seeing you so joyful and so happy and so introspective and so prayerful and so spiritual. Well, oh my gosh, you know, Kristen, there's something wrong with Kristen. We're going to have to do an intervention on Kristen, because he's just, wow, my gosh, we just never seen him so happy. That can't be right. So they call an intervention, and they send you into the psych ward, and the psych ward keeps you there for a number of months or a year, whatever. And you get out, and your body is full of drugs and you know, different chemicals, and, you know, you've been living under fluorescent lights, you know, in a locked, padded room with a bed and probably very little sunlight, and eating food that is probably some of the worst food that a person can receive in this world. And, all of a sudden you're let go because they don't want to spend any more money on you. You know, there's another Kundalini awakening person that they wish to incarcerate. So you're let out into the world, and you're on your Depakote or your lithium or whatever the drug that they're using to try to control the Kundalini with. And slowly but surely, for some reason or other, you begin to titrate off of those drugs, you know, of course, always with the expressed control of a medical professional. And you titrate down, and then the Kundalini, and let's just say that's been happening for 10 years. All of a sudden, you know, you get this flash of insight to let the Kundalini come out naturally after 10 years of chemical, you know, trying to chemically suppress it, which is really not working, but it's you know, in some way it's twisting the expression of the Kundalini through the divine flesh. Anyway, so the Kundalini begins to come out, and oh my gosh, you know, what a strong flow it is. It's like a hose, a water hose that has been kinked or stopped in the middle and just allowed to expand and expand behind the blockage in the water hose, and all of a sudden the water hose breaks forward and is gushing out at a high rate, and the Kundalini can do this sometimes, and that may wind you right back up in the psych ward. I've done this for a friend of mine lately, and I just want you to know that it's okay. It's okay. You can survive this one too. You know, and you can come out of the psych ward and just begin the process gently and begin the process again. there is always hope within the Kundalini. One of the hallmarks of Kundalini is hope, and you will, any of you who may have had this happen to them, you can come out of this just fine. But you just, there's levels that you'll need to incorporate. And sometimes we, in the Western technological society, there are expectations of behavior that are more appropriate than, say, some of the really expressive Kundalini behaviors, like yelling at the top of your lungs or running around in a street, dancing, singing, happily, doing yoga in a park in a very different way than people are used to seeing. And so, of course, they will call the ambulance on you, and the ambulance will come, put you in a straitjacket, and off you go to the psych ward. So for those people that have had that level of restraint put upon their physical being, chemically and physically, when you begin to titrate off of the drug, do so slowly and carefully, but also take care of the basics. Do the basics that you read about in the safety. Really look at the behavioral aspects and do your forgivenesses of the MDs and the nurses and the orderlies and the other patients and especially the people that called the ambulance upon you, and, which took you to the psych ward. And so, once again, you can begin your process. It's not like you're starting from the beginning either. It's all it means is that you have to go a little bit slower with the titration, and you have to allow surrender to the Kundalini in a way that allows you to be appropriate in the society that you're in a way where people won't be compelled to call an ambulance on you. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. You're not insane. You're not sick. Don't believe any of those lies. You have Kundalini. They don't understand Kundalini, therefore they call it an illness. So you surrender to the Kundalini in ways that you can do and still maintain your freedom in the society that you're in. And it looks like we have Ariane who would like to say hello, so I'm going to say, hello, Ariane.
Hi, Chrism.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm listening to the blog show, and at the beginning, actually, I just want to let you know that at the beginning, it was very choppy. The part of Boston that you mentioned, it didn't really come out all the way clear. It was not clear. It was like choppy. It was like something going on with communication.
Oh, well, we do have the technological limitations, that's for sure. Well, I'll go ahead and give that information again, Ariane. It's the Boston.
Yes, that would be nice if you can probably at the end, if you can probably mention it, and again, so that people are able to go to that Boston's seminar.
I appreciate it, Ariane. Thank you. And how is your activity treating you these days?
Well, today I meditated because I wasn't really feeling well. This morning I went to eat out yesterday for lunch and I got sick. So I stayed home and then I meditated for, my regular meditation, but I went on a little bit longer. And actually it was, I had some activity going up of my spine. And
can you describe that activity? What was that like?
It was like something was pushing up, but very gentle, pushing, going up. And there was a moment where that sensation would stay up, like I would say by the collarbone, and it was kind of pressure there. It was pressure, and then he left a little bit of after. Not sensation, but a little kind of pain, but it's not really like something really bad. It's just a mild thing.
Well, that's good. And you have had Kundalini sensations for how long now?
Well, this has been happening since January the 20th.
2013, right?
Yes.
And you came to the Santa Rosa seminar, right?
Yes, I was there in the Santa Rosa seminar. And actually, Sarkis did some healing for me. Thank you, Sarkis, if he's listening to this show. It was a very, very good healing for me. I just felt really well after that. And also, Amelia had the chance to do some healing there. And actually, when she did that healing, I was feeling like some really energy coming from the earth, you know, with my feet all the way up to my head, you know, like this, like energy going up. And the last healing that she did, I actually saw her, you know, I wasn't really, I had my eyes closed while she was doing some of the therapy, and I saw her hand, you know, with like sparkles coming out of her hand, you know, which was beautiful. And I just closed my eyes again, you know, I go like, wow, I just remember that happened that day that she was doing the last healing. I'm just very grateful, Chris. And most of the stuff that talk in the show today about the stigmatism out there for people that are sick with depression or anxiety and all this bipolar disorder and all this stuff that are in the community nowadays, well, that speaks to me a lot because, you know, I had to go through all that with going to the ER, you know, and
you went
having
to
all
the
that.
ER lately. Didn't you go to the ER just lately?
Yes, I went to the ER recently, and even knowing about the Kundalini, I got really kind of hesitant that it wasn't really like it was a stroke or something. In the past, I had palpitations in my heart, and I ended up in the ER like several times, you know. But recently, I had another thing happening which kind of threw me out because I haven't been taking medications for a long time. Since I started doing yoga and meditation, I stopped taking all medications. And so now I didn't know how was my heart going, and I got very worried because the other day I had an incident where I was having like symptoms like shortness of breath, my arm, my left arm was hurting. I was having like just my whole body was feeling like dizzy. I just didn't go to work either that day because I was like really feeling terrible, and I felt like I was going to have a stroke. Strokes are very common in my family. And so I just got a little worried, you know, and I went to ER. They did all the electrocardiogram. They did all the stuff. They took tests to see if I am going to hit myself with a stroke, but they said everything was okay, you know. So I came back home and I realized that was another test, I guess, from my Kundalini. And so...
Well, I do encourage people to go to the ER if they feel they need to go to the ER, of course. Absolutely. But for a person such as yourself that has the Kundalini to the degree that you have it, Kundalini is in control of your life. And we just, you know, we really have to get used to that idea. Kundalini will call the shots, and if it needs to do to you what it did to you and caused you to go to the ER, and you go through all the tests and you go through all of the MDs saying this or that, and well, Ariane, well, I guess you're just having a bad day, or we couldn't find anything, and so maybe you're just having an anxiety attack, or, you know, something like that, and they'll try to give you drugs.
Yeah. Well, luckily they didn't give me any drugs this time. But it's true, you know. That's why you're saying right now is like that, like this. Oh, the whole spectrum of your talk relates to me because, I mean, knowing and trusting everything that is happening and being able to give that chance to be able to realize that this is what's happening, and that's something that is very valuable information for people.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Absolutely.
And you mentioned a very good word there, Ariane. Is that the word is trust, and I think that you absolutely have to begin to trust that the Kundalini is working within you within ways that neither science nor your own individual consciousness can understand. Do you agree?
Yes, I am. Totally. Yeah, totally. I tell you, it's just a matter of being able to believe that what is happening is for my own good. Everything, even the challenges that we have in the daily life, everything is like you mentioned, and I'm going to quote you on this. It has the signature of the Kundalini and everything that we do. Okay.
It's true. Absolutely true. We have that signature.
Yeah. And so if things are happening around me, like, the other day things got me to the point where I was really upset, but these are things that are going to be happening in my life, I guess. And to be able to, more than anything, I'll look at you, Chrism, as in my spiritual aspect of my life. And the other thing, the emotional, of course, it can be there for me, but I would say that those things are going to keep on happening to everybody, isn't it? They are. So I'm just grateful, and just I cannot put in words how grateful I am for all the support that you have given me in this.
Well, I'm grateful to you as well, and to Amelia, and to Sarkis, and to Liz, to the many other people, Barbara, who have come together to allow the Kundalini Awakening System information to be given into the population. So I really return that appreciation.
Okay. Well, I would let you, I'll just thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I mean, I didn't even know I was going to be talking. I just going to call to say that we need that Boston repeated. But thank you so much, Chrism.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Amelia. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, everybody. Okay. All right. You have a rest of the day, and I'm going to continue listening to.
Okay.
Also.
Sorry about that, Ariane. Are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here, but I was just saying goodbye. I don't know what you want to say.
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for making the statements that you made, and for bringing your grace, into this discussion at this time. So thank you very much. And I believe Amelia has something she wants to say as well.
No, about the Boston seminar. When Liz is online, and I think you gave the wrong email, so perhaps Liz could give the correct one.
Thank you. Thank you, Ariane. I'm going to bring Liz online here.
Thank you.
Hello, Liz. Are you there?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake with your email. Please give the email that you would like people to contact you with.
Okay. L is like this. ZHAO.
So LZHAO. Number 6.
Number 6 at Comcast.net.
Okay, so everybody listening, that is LZHAO, number 6, at Comcast.net, and that's L as in love, Z as in zebra, H as in happy, O as in omnipresent, and then the numeral 6, so just the number 6, at Comcast.net. That's COMCAST.net. Is that right, Liz?
Yeah. I think you missed one again. LZHAO.
There's no Z in it?
Yeah. LZHAO.
LZHAO.
Right. Yeah.
No, there's no number 6?
Yes.
Okay. So LZHAO6 at Comcast.net.
Yeah.
All right, my dear. How are you today?
I want to say hello to Ariana. Ariana, yeah, I miss you. And I also miss Amelia and Elaine, and you and Safa. I love all of you. So
Love you too. That love comes right back at you.
I had a big thing last night.
What was that?
I had a big awakening last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What was that?
It's like a truck running on me because it's vibrating and crumbling every cell in my body. I cannot sleep.
Well, I just want everyone to know that Liz is from China, and she is going to be bringing Kundalini Awakening Systems information to China in the Chinese language, and she is so full of Kundalini right now. I think you say you've been in bliss for a while, right?
Oh yeah, I've been in bliss all day, and last night I was so blissful I had to cry. I was crying the whole time. I feel really hot and sweating. Oh no, but I have a question though. So I always try to control the process because it was so surprising to me. I have a tendency to control it. I mean, I don't know what kind of I know we're talking about trust and forgiveness and tolerance and love, whatever. In reality, nothing happened like that before, and then suddenly very surprised me. And then sometimes we're very excited, sometimes it's all kind of a mental struggle.
Well, sometimes you won't be able to control your level of understanding within it. You won't know the ways or the whys that it's having you do a certain thing, but you'll feel the result of what is happening, and even that result itself may be a little bit confusing for you. So sometimes you just blindly have to trust the Kundalini and what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
And when I'm able to contact you, off of the air here, I'll go into a greater explanation with that for you, so that you can, so you and I can get one-on-one with it and go into your individual process and work with it through there. Okay, you going to be home? You going to be available after the show?
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can do a Skype session then. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. So I will talk with you then, my dear.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
I love you guys.
Love you too. So once again, I want to thank Ariane and Liz and Amelia for participating in this program. As I was mentioning to Liz just now, you will not always know why a certain thing is happening. It will defy how you have come to interpret your life and how you have come to understand how things happen to you and why. Let me give you an example. As you know, Amelia is out to visiting Santa Rosa here, from Ireland, and we were out driving around yesterday, and we went out through the countryside, and we went up to the ocean, and we cruised in all the back roads of the ocean, and it was a beautiful day, and she was commenting how, it looks so much like Ireland with the green rolling hills and the trees and the cows, and I was commenting on how, it doesn't look so much like Ireland because we're driving on this side of the road. So we had a conversation about that, and we went in and we went in and we had a little entertainment with seeing a theatrical cinema production of, I think it was Iron Man 3, which I recommend to everyone. It has interesting moral concepts that are flowing through it, and I really, it was a great afternoon and evening, and I was talking with a Kundalini student at the end, and it just took so much time to do a certain thing, we finally started walking out to the car. We got in the car, and Amelia was continuing the conversation with someone we both know, and I was just driving along like I usually do. I'm typically not the fastest driver, but I was going 40 miles an hour, the speed limit. And the light was green through the intersection, and this car decided to turn in front of us or into us at the intersection. I mean, literally, it would have been a T-bone scenario. And the Kundalini took hold of my hands and turned the wheel so fast and so violently that Amelia was swung towards me in her seat harness, and we were heading straight for the signal light sidewalk pole, which we would have impacted in just a very short time. And then it grabbed the wheel and slammed it exactly the other way to the left. And so it was I was stunned, because I didn't expect this to happen. I wasn't aware that anything like this was going to happen. But it was a great lesson for me, and this is the second time this has happened, by the way, and the other time happened about a couple of years ago near Lake Tahoe. And so the Kundalini will take control of you at the precise moment it needs to in order to ensure the viability of your health and your life and your Kundalini experiencing in this lifetime. It cares about you. It cares about you. Now, it's not to say that if you have the karma for that kind of an accident that it won't happen, but typically you will be given many, many different examples of how the Kundalini just steps right in and helps the Kundalini child not fall and scrape their knee, or in this case be, put into the hospital with multiple head and upper body injuries. So this just happened last night. It's still very fresh. And it's a wonderful affirmation of the blessings that the Kundalini awakening brings to a person. For the most part, it will take care of you. It will help you as long as you surrender your control to it. You surrender to the control of your life to it. It is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. Now, of course, at the beginning, as I mentioned earlier, you do want to ascertain that this is indeed Kundalini, that it's happening to you. Of course, you want to ascertain that. And if I can help you in any way to do that, then I will. But once you've made that ascertaining, or that discernment of what the process is happening to you, then you can begin to unfold your fears and your security issues to the Kundalini, really to the Kundalini, and allow it to begin to sculpt your life. Once again, I'll put the number out there because we are getting some calls. We have 347-934-0026, 347-934-0026. I would like to restate the Boston seminar information. It's October 19th and 20th of 2013. It is in Boston, which is on the East Coast of the United States. It is being sponsored by Liz, and her email address, as we discussed earlier, is L as in love, Z as in zebra. So that's HOU Okay, LZHAO6 at Comcast.net. Hang on a second. Is that right, Liz?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So just checking in. So I'm going to put you back on there, Liz. Hang on. So LZHAO6 at Comcast.net. Go ahead and contact Liz and allow her to register you and sign you up. She'll give you all the details that you need to know. And once again, we will be demonstrating Kundalini controls at that seminar, at that retreat. So I think you're being given enough heads up time for this. This is in October 2013, so a few months away. Begin to make your plans and come over to Boston. I think you'll see Ariane there, you'll see Amelia there, you may see other people that you've heard on this radio program there. You'll certainly see me there, and let's begin to get your Kundalini awakening established within you. Now, I did promise that this would be about an hour, so here we are. An hour has come and gone, and I want to say thank you to Amelia Centaura for making this show possible. I want to thank Ariane. I'd like to thank Liz. I would like to thank you for listening live or in the archives. And I want to welcome you next week to another conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. Thanks for watching. You can see I'm used to making the videos. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week. Bye-bye.